Alright, you might be thinking, what does Garapon correlate with mangas? Well, it's a term that I'd like to use whenever I buy volume 1 of a random manga or I'll read a manga title that's interesting online without knowing absolutely anything about it. Just like the typical Garapon, you will never know what you would get until the color of the ball is confirmed. For the context of manga, you would never know whether it's shite or great until you've read at least 5 chapters of it. For today, I'll be doing a review of 5 mangas that I've read and what was my first impression of the manga. Of course, there would be spoilers, but just a clear heads up, if you want to experience the manga, just look at the title in this video and come back to this video to hear my thoughts. Alright, the very first manga of this series is Uruwashi no Yoi no Suki or Moonlit Dust, a manga about high school romance. The story is simple. It follows Takaguchi Yoi, a girl in her first year of high school. Due to Yoi's appearance and the way she acts, she was labeled as a prince, and basically have the risk that any losers like me would die for. Yoi was handing a girl a handkerchief that she dropped when suddenly a guy jumps from the second floor of the building. Yep, this is the ikemen of the story, Ichimaru Kohaku. With his well-proportioned face combined with his excellent smooth talk, no wonder he is labeled as the prince of the school. With both princes meeting for the first time, will love blossom between them? Only one way to find out is to read the manga! Prince meets prince. Coca-Cola truck meets Mentos truck. Kaboom! This manga has a really interesting concept and the first 3 chapters were excellent. I'll have to say that the eye-catching designs for the main leads were the reason as to why I read it, aside from my friend recommending it, of course. I gotta say that the author accidentally showcases Yoi's feelings as she struggles to understand what's going with her since she has been forced into the role of a prince by her peers. She doesn't really know what to say nor react when Kohaku treats her like a girl, which is why I find some of the manga panels cute. Kohaku, on the other hand, is a mysterious ikemen who says whatever he wants to or do as he pleases. Basically the Gojo of the universe. Heck, they even share the same color palette for their hair and eyes. Unfortunately, I do have a problem with Moonlit Dust, and it's mainly the male lead. Alright, I'm perfectly a-okay with the cringy lines that he utters, but sometimes I couldn't help but cringe. Ironically, I would always have the same reaction as Yoi whenever Kohaku flirts with her. Maybe it's unintentional by the author, who knows? However, one thing that made me uncomfortable was the 4th chapter, especially when they were laying on the same bed. I couldn't help but feel like Kohaku was being a little bit creepy with his actions. I'm sorry for ikemen fans, but after this chapter, I could never see Kohaku the same again. It's just that I feel like he's love bombing Yoi, which is a huge red flag in a relationship or when you approach a girl. And isn't he pushing things too fast? Overall, I think it's obvious that this manga isn't targeted for me, but it is for the female geeks out there. Now, with that out of the way, let's roll the Garapon again. We are lucky today. This is personally one of my favorite manga. Dan 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 is a story from the former assistant of Tatsuki Fujimoto, which speaks the volume to itself. Momo Ayase strikes up an unusual friendship with Ken Takakura, or nicknamed as Okarun, who is of course a UFO geek. Momo thinks that aliens are nonsense but believes in spirit, while her newly acquired friend believes that aliens are real and the concepts of spirits are stupid. So they've decided to make a deal. Okarun would go to a famous haunted tunnel, while Momo would have to go to a famous UFO hotspot. Both are determined to prove each other's belief wrong. However, both were proven wrong when each of them encountered the aliens and spirit respectively. Honestly, this is definitely a lookout for in the upcoming future. Once the anime releases, I'm sure that its popularity would skyrocket like crazy. I have to praise the author for brilliantly mushing in two concepts that are polar opposite of each other, which leave the author a massive sandbox for him to play around with. And the amount of references for tokusatsu were simply wow! I'm a big tokusatsu fan, so seeing the references for tokusatsu made me geek out like a dinosaur. Moving on, the genuine connections between characters in this manga really sticks out. It's well fleshed out and done at a brilliantly pace. For instance, Seiko, the grandmother of Momo, although acts nonchalant around her, actually cares a lot for her, and Okaru's willingness to do anything for Momo because she is his first ever acquired friend really showcases the brilliance of the author. And of course, the comedic timing of the manga was done brilliantly. It just appears out of nowhere for shock value and a good laugh. Finally, the cherry on top is the eerie designs of the aliens and spirits. It's like a blend of eeriness and fascinating design. I don't really see any evident flaws in the first 5 chapters, but as the story progresses, there are of course flaws. But in this series, I'll just stick to my impression after reading 5 chapters. So, if you like Chainsaw Man, then I'll be sure that you like Dun 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 Dun. Alright, moving on our third role for the day, let's hope for something good. Wait, where did the ball go?
Boo hates this! This is not chocolate!
Well, excuse me, but what are you doing here? Where's Dwayne? Do you even know what you're doing?
You are loud! Boo hates you! Boo!